Just for the record, too, I'm not wearing any pants because welcome everyone to another episode of I Can Do This All Day. I'm Dan, the part-time Avenger, and that is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Today we finalize the trifecta of Halloweeny subject matter. We've given you witches, we've given you werewolves, and today we're going to talk about Nosferatu himself, at least in the Marvel adjacent universe, the Sony crap factory that produced the Jared Leto led loser, Morbius.
Excuse me, but 5-star rated Google review Jared Leto Morbius.
Jared Leto paid somebody to get. Jared Leto hasn't been doing many movies. He must be at home leaving himself 5-star reviews.
We're going to get to that in a little bit. Yep, we're talking about Morbius, everyone. And like I said earlier, I'm not wearing any pants because this is going to be a suck fest, but not the type of suck fest that I was thinking of. And Mark, why don't you tell us why we're watching Morbius?
Well, first I want to point out that we are in different states. So
I will not be, by the way.
I will. There's a very good chance usually, and I will not be attending your suckfest. I will simply be commentating on this, and it took us having to come up with another Halloween themed movie to even get me to watch this. After seeing the previews, after hearing about it, and then hearing Dan tell me how much of a dumpster fire this movie was earlier. It made sense. It's kind of what we do. We talk about, Marvel movies. I don't think this is one. I think that they're going to kind of go in a different direction. There was a lot going on here. So I just watched this movie for the first time last night.
I'm sorry.
I had to watch it in 2 parts. I had to watch it in 2 parts because I watched part of it, fell asleep, woke up, rewound it where I fell asleep, and then finished the film. Talk to me about your first viewing, Dan, and what made you watch this to begin with.
So mine goes back a little bit further, and it is Father's Day for me. And for anyone who follows us on Instagram, I made an Instagram post, and I think it was like a story or something like that. And I put down the caption, Father's Day is really going to suck this year. And I had the screenshot of the Morbius Blu-ray menu. And so originally my son, my oldest, wanted to see this in theaters. And I was like, okay, we'll go see it. I mean, it's probably going to be, like Venom, and Venom wasn't really that great, but you just kind of had to take yourself out of it.
Oh, Venom was way better than this.
Well, yeah. And so I was thinking, like, you know what? It's not going to be an MCU caliber movie. It could be a Venom caliber movie, which sucks, but at least if you think about it and don't think about it, you can somewhat enjoy yourself and have fun. So opening weekend, we were thinking like, okay, we're going to go see this. And then the flood of reviews just started coming in. And not the 1-star reviews, but I started reading 5-star reviews because, like, how the hell is this movie getting 5-star reviews? And I was like, oh, this is just like a gang of trolls just boosting this movie up, talking about nonsense. And so I started seeing the high amount of 5-star reviews and the incredibly high amount of 1-star reviews. I was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. And so I told my son flat out, I think I said this verbatim, like, hey, buddy, this movie's probably going to suck. Do you really want to see it? And he's like, oh, really? Like, yeah, it's not going to be good. If you want to go, we'll go. And he said, no, we can do something else if you want. I was like, all right, thank God. Because I didn't want to take our family of 4 to a suck fest, even though I have discounted passes for movies. So that was the first escape of Morbius. But Father's Day, a few months later after its release, I was thinking, you know what, guys, why don't we just go rent a movie? And my son's like, what about Morbius? Even though it sucks, at least we'll be at home. And I think that's exactly what he said. And so I was like, really? You want to see it? Like, it really is going to suck, buddy. He's like, yeah. And then we could always just stop watching it if we don't want to. We're like, all right. So we did it. So that is the first time we watched it.
So, question about that experience, right? You went and rented it. Did you rent a backup?
No.
Ooh, Raw Dog and
No.
Morbius, man. That's a little. That's
There was
that's ballsy.
no protection. And yeah, ballsy for sure, because this guy in my background was catching balls for sure. It was not, I did not finish watching it. And my son was laughing like 5 minutes into the movie. And so I was like, ooh, you got an 8-year-old kid laughing at this movie. This is not a good sign, Sony, not a good sign. So when you said that we're gonna watch, or you suggested Morbius as a Halloween Scream theme movie, I was like, oh shit.
I
All
think you
right.
suggested it. I think because we were stuck, like, where do we go? We haven't watched a superhero movie in a while. I mean, we did the werewolf one, but we gotta get back to the roots.
I will not take credit for suggesting Morbius. I don't think it was, man. I really don't think it was.
Whatever it was, you agreed to it.
I did. And
neither
fine.
of us could think of a reason not to. No other movie sparked as, well, we could watch this.
100% transparency. I am going to shit on this movie from beginning to end. And it will just be a toilet bowl full of it.
You mean you didn't like the helicopter scene?
There's a helicopter scene in this movie? What? I don't know. I couldn't. There's so much.
The whole movie opens with a helicopter scene.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that as a helicopter scene. I was just thinking like, okay. But oh God. So yeah, and then I watched it again for this fucking podcast. And just like you said that you were gonna quit for reviewing potentially an Eternals movie, I might quit if there's gonna be another Morbius movie that comes out. So or if he appears in anything, I will shit on it in protest, literally. And yeah, I might quit.
As of right now, Jared Leto is only in pre-production for other properties that we hold near and dear. He's in pre-production for Haunted Mansion as the Hatbox Ghost. He's going to be in Tron 3.
Wait. Back up. Haunted Mansion. There's another Haunted Mansion movie?
Oh, there is a Disney Haunted Mansion movie coming out with an amazing cast that we will review next year for Halloween when it comes out in 2023.
They just came out with like the Muppets Haunted Mansion thing.
They did, but in this Haunted Mansion, they've got Jamie Lee Curtis as Madame Leota, Jared Leto as the Hatbox Ghost. I mean, there's gonna be good shit. You can't put Jamie Lee Curtis, Winona Ryder, Jared Leto, Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson in a movie and make it bad.
You know, I don't think Jared Leto's a bad actor. So okay, that's fine. Okay,
neither does the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences.
Good God. Oh man. Okay,
I was just making sure he wasn't in line for any other Marvel properties. He's doing Tron, he's doing a Joker movie, but he's not doing this.
He is doing a Joker movie.
Because DC is all about their multiverse that they can't call a multiverse because they'll get sued.
Let's hear about some background for Morbius, the character. Do you know anything about Morbius?
I do know a lot about Morbius. Morbius was a big part of the Spider-Man TV show, which was awesome. And he was in the comics, and he was never this much of a piece of garbage.
Was he ever this powerful? Because this guy is fucking super powered.
I think so. There's a few things that ruined this movie for me. One, and it stuck out like a sore thumb, is the science. Like the science of Peter Parker getting bitten by a spider. Like, okay, they were irradiating spiders like that. That at least tracked a little bit. But when this dude pulled out a dead dissected bat, took like the fucking lungs of the bat out and put it in a centrifuge, and then it took like an organ. not like drew blood or some sort of plasma. He took a full organ, dropped that bitch in a test tube, spun it in a circle a little bit, and that's like a bat shake. It's chunky. That's not how that shit works, Jared Leto. Like it just was. It just is just dumb after dumb after dumb after dumb.
Yeah.
The way that he flies in this movie through the air disruption, like I used to do as a little kid, flapping around in the fucking hand out the window. I'm sure your kids do this because I know you don't drive slow. That's not how that shit works. Like their whole falling with style game. I'm like, this is impossible in the realm of physics. And his powers. His powers were redonkulous. All he was supposed to have were like the powers of a bat. Bats aren't super strong. Where did he become super strong? Why does he have 5 claws? Shouldn't he have like penguin hands and wings? How does that DNA work? And how do you have a DNA morph from a spinal tap? He didn't have a bone marrow transplant. He just had an injection in his back. And it was like so fast. No gamma rays, no irradiation, just like, oh, I'm on a boat and now I'm a vampire on a boat. Wow.
So I want to go through this almost like chronologically because I wrote some notes and I was telling you about this earlier.
I couldn't. I was just like, huh?
I wrote some notes and I want to go through this, but I did abandon notes because I was like, I'll end up just literally dialogue line by dialogue line. I will rip this movie apart and also scene by scene. So first off, the credits. All right. I actually thought I wrote down credits, promising. It actually looks promising. And I was trying to like almost forget that I watched it on Father's Day because I wanted to give this a fair shot. And I was wondering, like, did I just shit on the movie because I told my son it was going to suck? And I was like, there's no way that this movie's going to suck. So
no,
here,
it's bad.
Credits were promising because it seemed interesting. And like the CGI or graphics or whatever was cool in it. Then,
but hang on. The other reason that the credits were promising is because you had Oscar winner Jared Leto and motherfucking Doctor Who Matt Smith. Like they didn't go to the bottom of the barrel for the fucking talent for this movie. Like they got some good people.
Hold that thought.
I'm seriously.
You know what? Okay, you don't hold the thought. Let's go into it right now. Let's go down the cast list. We're just going to say the names of the cast list. We got Jared Leto, very good actor, a very lengthy resume too. Matt Smith, I wouldn't say that he's a good actor.
But he was Doctor Who.
That doesn't mean he's a good actor. Doesn't mean he's a good actor.
There's a lot but he's at least serviceable that he held that role for a good amount of time.
Sure. And that's fine. And I've never watched Doctor Who, so he may be fantastic in it. Because I haven't seen it, I just think he's overrated because that's the only thing that people will say about him is, oh, he was Doctor Who and he was amazing in Doctor Who.
He was also the Duke of Edinburgh in The Crown, and he was very good in that. I don't know if you've seen The Crown.
No, I have not. My wife has, but
my wife did too. She's like, "Oh, was he in The Crown?" And I was like, I had to look it up because I haven't watched The Crown.
He was also in the Terminator Genesis movie as Skynet, which I didn't really understand, but whatever. So let's just say I'll give Matt Smith the benefit of the doubt. Great actor based off of The Crown and Doctor Who. That's all I know him from. And then of course the new Game of Thrones show.
I've heard is really good. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until everything is done or it gets canceled. And if it gets canceled, I'm not gonna watch it. And then if it gets picked up for years to come, then I've
heard it's really good. George R.R. Martin said it's better than the book.
Okay.
When George says something, I'll listen. 2 Georges I listen to, R.R. Martin and Lucas.
Not of the Jungle?
Only if it's Brendan Fraser.
Yes. All right. So going down this amazing cast list, Adria Arjona. Who?
She
Where's
was
she from?
in Narcos. She was in True Detective. And she is in Andor right now. She's in the Father of the Bride series that's on, what is it, HBO Max with Andy Garcia.
Oh,
She's not a bad actress. This is not her fault.
okay. But okay, that's fine. Jared Harris. Who?
Very respectable. Jared Harris.
Uh, could have been Devonte Harris or whoever.
He
I don't
was
know.
in
I have
Mad
no idea.
Men. He was in Mad Men for probably like 6 seasons
Okay.
as Lane Price. He was in The Crown as well. He was in
Sure.
Chernobyl. He's been in a lot of things. He is the equivalent of the Max. What's the guy's name that's in Thor?
Must have been a really good actor, I guess, because
Who's the scientist in Thor?
Stellan Skarsgård. I was gonna
He is.
say
I would say
it
he's
could have
an
been
equivalent of Stellan Skarsgård, in my opinion.
Stellan Skarsgård is pretty freaking deep in terms of his acting roles. So
Jared
um,
Harris is too. But
okay.
then what the fuck? I literally said when this person walked on the screen, what the fuck? Why is Tyrese Gibson in this movie?
That once again proving my point. Excuse me, like really great cast of
No,
actors. What?
no. They have 4 good ones and a minute of Michael Keaton, but why is Tyrese Gibson in this movie? I wanted him to jump. I wanted him to jump in a convertible Mitsubishi Eclipse and drive after Morbius real fast and furiously.
So I like Tyrese just because he's entertaining. But yeah,
No, he's not.
as
It's entertainingly bad.
absolutely he's entertaining. Anyone who likes the Fast and Furious movies, they like his character because he's just flat out ridiculous. But yeah, it doesn't make sense of him being an FBI agent. Al Madrigal, funny comedian, and I'm sure he did the best of what he could do with the lines that were written for him. But yeah, it's not like they have a stellar cast of actors for this. Jared Leto leading the bunch with
Wait.
his
We gotta
title role.
rewind on your boy, Al Madrigal.
He's funny.
He's a skinny poor man's Oliver Platt. Who is this guy?
It's a comedian. He
Wasn't
wasn't
funny.
funny in the sense that those lines that were in for him were garbage and dog shit. But I mean,
So,
like I said,
I want to talk
you're
about
the one who said that there was a good cast, and this cast fucking sucks.
when your top 2 are decent, like you shouldn't have this problem. It should not have been this bad. So I want to talk a little bit deeper and show you and tell you where I lay the blame. So the writers, Matt Shizama and what's this guy's name? Buck Sharpless. Great.
Sounds like a
great
solid
movie name.
Solid name, yeah.
Yeah, Buck. My name is Buck, and I like to write movies. Buck, by the way, is script writing for Madam Web. We should all be really excited.
Ooh, I am excited.
But
Ooh.
he did Gods of Egypt, The Last Witch Hunter, and Dracula Untold.
Oh, cool.
I
So all
thought
those
Dracula Untold was highly underrated.
Is that
was
the
his
one
best.
with?
Yes.
Is that the one with what's his name?
Luke.
Luke something.
Yes.
That was okay. That was okay.
That was one of the better Dracula movies I've seen.
I didn't.
The other guy wrote with him on all of those. So they're like a duo. So I don't want to blame the writers. I look at the director, Daniel Espinosa, who has directed nothing. He directed Safe House with Denzel and Ryan Reynolds. That wasn't that good of a movie.
I like that movie. That was good.
Yeah, but you could put Denzel and Ryan Reynolds in anything, and they'd be fucking amazing. But
I
the
want to
guy,
say, and Life was good. Life was actually a good movie that he directed. So, but haven't seen his other ones. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm a fan, but I did like Life. I did like Safe House, and so when I saw those other two movies, like, okay, well, at least he has some credit to his name. But yeah, this movie is not good.
but
Not good.
I feel like it's the director's job to get the vision out there, and I feel like the vision on this needs they need to get Al Madrigal's like prop glasses from this movie because it needs Coke bottles to correct the vision.
I think, to at least give him a little bit of credit, the visuals were good. Like the overall visuals, if you didn't know Morbius as a comic book character, because there's some pretty cool visuals in there, like, but it's
Wait,
stealing from
wait.
like Nightcrawler and X-Men,
Talk to
and
me
which
about
doesn't
all
make
the
any
smoke.
sense.
What
I'm
is the
not
purpose of the smoke?
There is no purpose, and that was one of the big things. Like, okay, so Morbius is Nightcrawler now. Like, he can move super fast, but instead of just teleporting, he just goes from one area to the other. And then, of course, the in my background here, the ball smoke, man, that's just top notch. Visual wise, I appreciate it, but it doesn't make any sense to the character, the powers, and the direction of where you can take this character in the future. It makes zero sense.
They better not bring the character back in the future because this guy, in his current form with his current power set, sight beyond sight, super fast powers, flying on nothing, apparently healing powers too. Apparently he's Wolverine too, because the other guy gored the shit out of him and he didn't die. Like,
Yeah,
all of it makes no sense.
he breathed pretty heavy after he got cut. But
Oh God.
yeah.
But in general, it made no sense. But with the current power set he has, it puts him at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, he would
Like,
whoop anyone's ass.
he is a wrecking machine, and who can beat it? Like, the list of Marvel characters that could do this man damage is like Wolverine, like, and top of the food chain villains.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
like
disagree.
Thanos.
He's very overpowered. I heard something from somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but they said like, yeah, Morbius could beat Thanos because he's just faster, stronger, and it sounds ridiculous. And I didn't think about it until after I heard that. I was like, yeah, he is like super super overpowered in this movie.
But they were super inconsistent with his powers because when he was fighting all the police, Tyrese grabbed his arm, and I'm like, when Tyrese gets super fast, did
Well,
Tyrese get bitten by a bat?
he had a mechanical arm, which apparently there was a lot in the movie with
Wait,
his
he had a mechanical arm?
Yeah. So he's like
Wait,
Winter Soldier.
he had a
basically.
mechanical arm. I had no fucking idea he had a mechanical arm.
That's because they wrote it out. So there was a bunch of scenes that he did have his mechanical arm, and it played like a prominent
That's
role.
because they were going to get sued.
Yeah, and so they decided to be like a little close to Black Winter Soldier. We're out, and so they just decided to axe all those scenes with him using his mechanical arm or super powered arm, whatever he has.
Man, you know what I really loved about this movie? How he was such a random doctor. Like,
oh yeah,
he had all of his expensive toys, and then the Casio watch I got for my 5th birthday.
Oh man,
Like, he is a strange doctor, not Doctor Strange.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, just because going on my notes here. So the writing, so the banter back and forth at the beginning between Milo, which I don't know why he renames him from Lucian to Milo. To me, I wrote that down as stupid.
That was one of the few things I thought was funny. It's New Doug.
Well, then you know what, man? That was in Thor. They already did it. That's why I didn't.
Yeah,
find it funny.
but he's doing it for last one of you died. Next one of you is gonna die. I don't need to get to know you, Milo.
guess.
I
don't know.
thought it was darkly that to me probably one of the funniest things in the movie.
But the
That
fact
and the
that,
holy water.
but it just, that was funny. Yeah. So that was just something that was like, if he's going to be dark about this, then he shouldn't give a shit if this kid gets jumped or whatever. Like he all of a sudden they become like just best friends. Like, no, you should just fucking tell this kid
They
to
were
piss
like
off and die.
stepbrothers.
Wow. Stepbrothers, at least they had some like animosity to each other, and there was like at least a good amount of time before they became friends. Here it's just like, you're probably gonna die soon, so don't worry about it. Hey, you want to go play? You want to learn about science and shit? Become best friends? Like, come on, get the hell out of here.
As somebody who went to a private school, would you make fun of the invalid kids across the street through the window? Would you tease the cripples?
Oh, no, of course not. No,
What?
you do it to
What
their
the fuck
faces.
kind
That's
of
what you would do.
what the fuck kind of place were they living?
Yeah.
Where the kids were just teasing and bullying the cripples.
But let's be honest here. So I would say that when we were younger, and I don't think it matters if you're in a private school or a public school, kids will always make fun of someone that's different than them, right? And still to this day, that it happens. And so it's not that far of a stretch, but yeah, it is a little bit
To
too
stomp
over
out the
top.
cripple kid?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
over the
kind
top.
of
That's over the top. But the fact that, like, yeah, you could make fun of people like from a window that you see from afar, like, yeah, that's believable. But yeah, beating the shit out of them, not so much. Those kids have future jail sentences like written all over them.
or future blood drains coming.
Yeah, but nothing ever happens to those kids. He doesn't use his vampire sniffing powers and go
Yes.
chase after the kids.
That could be the sequel. Morbius 2, Bully Revenge.
But so as they get older, they have this friendship bond. What's really funny to me is the fact that Michael goes to see him, and the guy can't neither of them can fucking walk. So what does he suggest? Hey, let's go for a walk. And they proceed to walk down the busiest fucking street.
Well, they're in New York, right?
Yeah. But the fact that they choose to walk down a busy ass fucking street, then go to an empty park when they could have just sat in their fucking penthouse.
No. Hold up. I want to rewind. They walk down a street in New York and nobody cusses at them, tells them to get the fuck out of the way,
That's
or
my
bumps
point.
into them at all.
That's my point. So let's talk about the experiments. So he talks about how it's going to be an expensive experiment with him. How the hell does he know that? Like, does a test
Because he had to rent a giant boat.
Is that what it was? Is that really what?
I would guess they had to get the giant container boat to go into international waters.
Yeah, I guess that could be expensive.
A lot of diesel.
Yeah, but so he makes. What did you think of his transformation after his experiment?
I get the doubled over thing and hanging from the ceiling. I think the thing that really pissed me off about this movie, amongst many, is they were too worried about making Jared Leto pretty all the time. They didn't want you to forget that Jared Leto's pretty. So his face shape shifting was like, no, he's in vampire mode, but look, he's still pretty. No, vampire's still pretty. And there was never a true change of face when he's using the vampire powers. It was very all over the place, right? Like, give me the Jekyll and Hyde. But there was one sequence where his face literally went vampire Jared Leto, vampire Jared Leto, vampire Jared Leto, like back and forth like 6 times.
Yeah.
And he would go from Jared Leto with his sexy beard to vampire with no beard and high cheekbones and back and forth. And it's just like,
Let's get it straight. He went from Jared Leto to Michael Jackson to Jared Leto. So that's what it looked like. That's really what it looked like. That was Michael Jackson post 1994.
It really was.
With his nose. I mean, it was crazy. All right.
But you know what the sad part about it is? It was not thrilling.
Some might even say it was bad. I thought I made a note here. So after his transformation and post murder spree, apparently when you murder people, you just get really hot because Morbius just took his shirt off afterwards. He's like, oh, it's so hot. I got to take my shirt off after I murdered all these guys. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Why?
Oh, hang on. I have another note. I'll get to the Burt Kreischer moments where he just needs to take his shirt off. But another thing about the transformation is I thought blackface wasn't okay. But this guy went from pasty Jared Leto to like just graphite colored vampire.
No, it was white Michael Jackson. So that
Both
doesn't
of
count
them
as black.
did. Both
That
of them
doesn't
were
count as
like
black.
graphite colored.
Yeah.
They were gray.
It's okay. You're white Michael Jackson. That doesn't count as
Mm.
blackface. You're okay.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay.
You tell me anyone that thought that Michael Jackson was black at that point. I have to cut that part out, I guess.
No, I mean, it's you can't argue with Michael Jackson. It is what it is. It is what it is. R.I.P. to the butthole gazer. I don't know. Michael Jackson died? What?
Jesus Christ.
I think that there's also something to be said for your point. I want to hear your thoughts on it though first.
On what?
What you were just talking about.
I get hot when I murder people?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess it's just like a really weird sexualized murder porn type of thing. Like why did you have to do that? Number one. Number two,
Murder
does
boner.
his murder condition really make him hot after he kills people? Once again, murder porn. There you go. Morbius is murder porn. I just I thought it was so funny because like, yeah, I got to take my shirt off because I'm fucking ripped and jacked now. But really, it was just like, oh my god, I'm so turned on because I just murdered all these people. There's blood everywhere.
Murder boner.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
God, he totally Dahmered it up. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm totally watching that Dahmer Netflix show right now, and a couple episodes to the end, and it's just like, oh my gosh, ridiculous. That man and Evan Peters as Dahmer is just
Yeah. I haven't touched it yet.
it's so interesting, so much better than Morbius. Even
Mm.
the worst parts of this, based off of a true story, better than Morbius. Completely fictional vampire murder porn.
I've been watching Andor, which I'm sure we'll have to talk about at some point.
Is it good?
It's not bad. It's much like every other Disney Plus show. I wish I'd get more of it all at once.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I do think that old Michael Jackson Voldemort crossed Morbius. It could have been better. It could have been okay. But why did they have to make another one? There weren't two vampires in the comics.
Who's gonna be his arch nemesis? The fucking government?
Pick anybody. There's a treasure trove of Spider-Man characters. You introduced Carnage.
Yeah, and that was a waste.
You have Venom.
Another
you could
waste.
have went and got the Black Cat. You could have went and got what's the Cloak and Dagger. You could have went and
Come
got
on.
so many Spider-Man characters.
You're telling me that as overpowered as this guy was, there's no one else that could have gone after him in this movie. You're talking about the Black Cat, a white lady with some latex on? Nah. Sorry. Not gonna happen. Get her ass kicked, and then he will definitely take his shirt off of that, and murder porn will happen. So he is just too strong. So they needed to have some fucking vampire character, and I think that it was the right move, based off of what they wrote. Just because
The
of
right
the
move
fact,
to never make a sequel.
well, yeah, I don't think they can. I think they know that. I don't know if all these movies are going to be hits. So whatever we introduce, they're going to be killed off in that movie. because they don't know if they'll ever make another one because these movies blow ass. Venom, I thought that sucked so much. And then they made a second one, and I was like, oh, cool. Carnage is going to be in it. Maybe they'll do this better. Woody Harrelson is one of those guys that can do no wrong, and he's a good actor. That one didn't blow as hard,
I
but
didn't
it still
see it.
blew. It still blew, man.
I don't know. I think that they tried to set this up for a Spider-Verse thing, right? Because
Unfortunately.
magically, instead of a chunky bat cocktail, you just bite Morbius's lip and drink his blood to become a vampire.
Yeah, that was.
Didn't know that's how that shit worked.
Yeah, it's like vampires are just like zombies. It's like a big STD. Like as soon as you swap blood in any way, you turn.
She's got bad
one.
herpes. And also, they tried to jump on the Spider-Verse or No Way Home.
Let's talk about that at the end because I've got a special place for Michael Keaton on that. I want to keep talking through chronologically. So Tyrese gets introduced as FBI agent Stroud, and
I just wanted to hum the Pav City anthem at that point. I'm just all fast and furious about Tyrese.
What's the Pav City anthem? What?
It was on the Too Fast, Too Furious soundtrack.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Back in the day.
There's a special place in my heart for that movie because that movie is so goddamn ridiculous.
Oh yeah. When they're like, what would make a sequel to Fast and the Furious better? Obviously Ludacris.
So the funny thing about that is when he gets to the hospital. All right, so what's her name? Martine hits her head, and he says, "Yeah, she hit her head." You get to the hospital, she's on a full-blown respirator. She's dying. Like, what the fuck? Why she hit her head, and now she's in ICU, full-blown respirator, and. Not to make fun of it.
With CTE as well.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of things that can happen with TBI, CTE, everything like that. That's not a joke to that. But the fact that they totally downplayed it, like, yeah, she's in the hospital, hit her head. And then, like, they probably should have played that up just a little bit more so that way there was some type of feeling as like, oh my gosh, she's really in bad shape, as opposed to, yeah, she hit her head. She's at the hospital. No big deal. And that's where like it gets even weirder. So the whole chase with the FBI as Morbius is running away from them. Dude, the cops that miraculously show up as the FBI is chasing them, those New York cops, anyone who's listening in New York or has family or friends in the New York police force, do all of them just not give a fuck? Where they just start shooting guns up in the air and staircases with no disregard for their own health and safety?
Dude was just letting that shit fly.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it.
It's not coming back down. No physics.
Yeah, he point braked that bitch and just started shooting right up in the air. It was so crazy.
And then Tyrese apparently used his metal hand to stop him.
Yeah.
I don't know why I want the metal hand. I wanted Tyrese to fight him. That would have made it so much better.
So your boy Matt Smith, what was with him doing his best Ric Flair impersonation of always saying "woo," like wow. Even that was the part where my son laughed every single time, and he did it at least 3 times in that movie. Where it's like, what is that your catchphrase? Like, where it would have been better if they were watching, some old school wrestling at their little children's home, and then it would have made sense. But it just didn't fit. Like I just don't understand why he did that. And it is funny though, and my son still laughs about that to this day. Like, hey Dad, remember in Morbius? And then the guy just yelled like Ric Flair. I was like, yeah. I do, buddy. I just watched it again.
Woo! Yeah,
God.
I don't know, but I think I blame the director.
You don't blame Matt Smith? You don't think he had a hand
I would guess that somebody said, "Oh, you should just go woo, dude." The director's like, man. I watched a WWE documentary yesterday, and woo was my favorite catchphrase.
if he did watch it, he'd be like, "Don't you dare fucking say that. That's Ric Flair's. That's Ric Flair's saying."
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
Oh, so dumb. I can't believe I watched this movie again. Oh god.
It was your pick.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Shit.
We got a lot to
alright.
look forward to, though. I mean, Black Panther comes out in like less than a month.
Hey, let's
It'll
hold
get better.
off.
It'll get
Let's
better.
yeah, let's wait on that because we're talking about important shit right now.
Oh,
The suck
Morbius.
fest that's Morbius.
Ugh.
Were there any bright spots to you?
No, but I want to still talk about the stuff that I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Oh, I've got plenty of
Sidebar,
that too. I just there was,
sidebar, why did he have a cylinder of bats? That made no sense.
was that something to do with like the testing where he got those bats from the cave or whatever?
I don't know. I don't know if he stole them from the Peruvian bat cave. But I do know that he somehow went full Val Kilmer on those bats and was able to use the bats as a weapon like Batman Forever. Was it
Was that
Batman
in Batman
Forever?
Forever?
Or was it?
No, they did that in the first Batman. Dude, that was Michael Keaton, your favorite Batman, Michael
No.
Keaton. Yeah, totally. Dude, telling you, it's Michael Keaton on this one. Because remember, he takes Vicky Vale and like they go up the fucking stream of bats. I'm pretty sure that was Michael Keaton. Because he says like, or she's like, "What are you doing?" Like calling for help, or wherever the fuck.
No, it's Batman Begins.
Oh, was it Batman? Oh, fuck.
It was
Either way.
Batman Begins.
Either way, it was a respectable Batman movie. It wasn't.
It
How
was.
dare you? How dare you talk?
I'm
shitty
sorry,
about
Val Kilmer had the blindfold with the sonar, which Morbius also had sonar. He basically was every Batman ever.
I still don't understand how that works, where he can pinpoint one person talking in a city of thousands.
My
just
wife was
thinking
like,
about it.
has he already been able to hear that? Has he always had super hearing? She's like, yeah, then why doesn't he hear everybody? Like what was it, Man of Steel? But no, this handicapped doctor of privileged upbringing was man enough to stop all the voices and only listen to one or two.
That is, I mean, I guess you can't Man of Steel it again because that was the first time they've ever brought that up.
What are you
in Man of
talking about?
Steel.
They Man of Steeled and Batman every other power that he had. I'm surprised he didn't have laser vision.
No. I'm saying that you can't talk about the whole hearing thing again like Man of Steel because that's the only time that's ever been brought up. And they did it very well to where it's like he's fucking freaking out because he can hear his weird kids' voices and everything. And I just don't. There's no logical way.
They could have given him sonar. They could have. You know how you'd fix that? You want me to rewrite it? Not with the super hearing, sense of smell. I smell her.
Can't do that with his Michael Jackson nose though.
His Michael Jackson nose gets more air in, so he actually can hear better.
I guess. I mean, yeah, I don't disagree the fact that it's ridiculous, right? But I think we're just in that land of comic book land where there's no way, there's no.
It's
justifiable
Sony comic book land. It's like I don't know. It's like the amateur danger park of comic book lands.
To be fair, there's a lot of stuff from Marvel that the MCU that isn't that well explained.
This would be the worst movie in the MCU if it was in the MCU.
Of course.
Eternals is better than this.
Yeah, Eternals isn't that bad.
When compared to this, Eternals should get an Oscar nod.
Yeah, for sure. Because this sucks. Sony does a
I,
horseshit job of making these movies.
I mean,
With Spider-Man, the MCU versions of Spider-Man is a stark difference in comparison.
it's funny you put it that way.
Yeah.
I will say that the one thing we did do is pick the most vampire-y of vampire movies because it really sucked.
I would have watched Twilight, all of them, over watching this again.
No, no, one bad movie over 7. I don't think so.
Dude, those movies are so funny. I
No, no,
still,
I'm
to
good.
this day, I can still laugh at every single movie. Yeah, every single one of those movies. And my wife loves, as much as she likes those movies and as much as I eviscerate them, she loves my commentary and funny lines and quips that I say
Oh, I'm
during all
sure
the
she
ridiculous
does,
scenes.
or she plots your demise.
Oh no, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. It's so funny. But she's like, yeah, that is pretty funny, like and I always say like, don't you like my commentary on these movies just a little bit better than the actual dialogue that's said? She's like, yeah, I'll give it to you. It is pretty good.
My
So,
wife pointed out that the reason that Morbius couldn't bite her and turn her into a vampire is because then it would have been Twilight. She had to bite him to reverse Twilight that shit.
oh man, fuck. It's and really, what was the purpose of that at the end though? Like, and then she gets like all sexualized just from like the little bite. She's like on the verge of death,
Hmm.
and then she's like, kiss me, I'm gonna fucking bite you. Like once again, this turns into like this weird
Well,
version of
she's
porn.
biting him to save her own life, and she does.
Yeah, I know, but is that what you're thinking of? Like, are you gonna do it all sexually, or are you gonna be like, I'm
You
fucking
said the
dying, dude?
movie was a giant murder boner.
Yeah, but like I said, it just realistically though, just playing in that scene, if you're dying, you're dying, you're fucking freaking out. You're like, just give me your goddamn blood, I'll suck your cock, I'll do anything, just give it to
Mhm.
me. And no, that didn't happen that way. She's just like, I'm gonna bite it all seductively, like a whore. And
Well,
yeah,
he doesn't know what that is. He doesn't know what that is. Let's be honest.
oh man.
Um, so I heard a rumor that this movie was re-released in the theaters.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you haven't heard of like the trending hashtag it's Morbin time?
No, but it's funny because the writers did write a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie,
Oh,
the
did they
more
really?
recent one. Yeah,
Oh no shit. So
that's why I'm saying it's not the writers.
on some of the whether it's like Instagram or Twitter posts or something like that, so a bunch of trolls kept on um, putting the hashtag it's Morbin time on their tweets and everything, and they kept on saying like, yeah, my favorite part of the movie is when Morbius said it's Morbin time. And so it just got this so much fucking traction. And I think Jared Leto actually had like a tweet or something where he was reading a Morbius 2 script, and like the title was it's Morbin time or something like that. And so they hyped it up, they bought into the viral troll hype and re-released this out in the theaters, and guess how much money it made? It made
Negative $2.
like $8, like maybe 8,000. I think that's what it was, like $8,000 from like a a national release. I'm not sure if
It's
that's the accurate
so
number, but
bad.
it was very low. Like it was like equivalent to $20 per theater or something like that. It was so bad, and yeah, all because of trolls just making fun of the movie. And I want to take a quick second, if I may. And I know I'm not a huge fan of just reading stuff online in the podcast, but I wanted to bring up a few of those awesome Google reviews. And let me pull some of those up because I feel like there's no way that we can have this discussion without this fantastic shit. So give me a second. Okay,
What's
so
wrong?
I wanted to talk a little bit about the reviews of Morbius here. And apparently, since the last time I viewed these, there are so many more 5-star reviews. So I'm just going to go over this really, really quick. And I'm just going to read like a few lines from each of them. So these are all the 5-star reviews of Morbius on Google. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the biggest trilogies of all time. And so that's the first line of it. And everything about it is about Lord of the Rings trilogy after that. Going on to another review. This movie is so good, it's way better than the first one, and just about everything I ever hoped for in a Sonic movie. So they're referring to Sonic the Hedgehog, and they write like a 2-page review about Sonic the Hedgehog, saying they can't wait for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The very template of an assured masterpiece. The Social Network is exactly what happens when an impeccable script, a visionary, everything is about other movies, and they just post it about Morbius. I'm trying to get to like an actual Morbius review, and here's one for the Batman. They just talk about the Batman, give a 5-star review. Another Sonic 2 review. Okay, here we go. This one is from Oliver Strom 5 months ago. This made me feel stuff that I never felt before. I felt one I felt 1 more billion emotions in the right spots. Right now, I'm buying in bulk all the Morbius backpacks. Well, here I am again, revisiting the timeless cinema classic that would go on to spark a whole universe of action, politics, space, religion, if you compare the Jedi Order to it, and so much more. Just to show how timeless this master. And so then, after all that, he goes into a Star Wars review. So fucking bad. I oh god, I can't. Here's a Spider-Man review. Spider-Man No Way Home 5-star review for Morbius. Okay, here we go. Morbius is the great, truly the best cinema has to offer. I never expected a live action movie of Scooby Doo. They fucking trolled me right there. So they talk about Scooby Doo, man. I can't get through any of the 5-star reviews without them referencing another movie.
So I like to look at DVD reviews sometimes for this, when it's really bad, and I just pulled up on Amazon.
Okay.
While this only has a 5.2 out of 10 for IMDb, they're out of 39,110 ranks. It has 4 stars, and there are 55% 5-star reviews.
Damn right.
55%.
Of course.
Here's one from R.E. Wallace Jr. that reads, "Why all the hate" is the title. And he just he goes to say, I want to say that, start things off by pointing out, I don't like Jared Leto. I didn't like him as the Joker, and I don't like his music. In fact, on most days, I just don't like him. Yet, I do like him in this. Keep in mind, I'm a very big Michael Morbius fan, so I also love the fact that they didn't try and rework his character as some sort of perfect hero and not a tragic anti-hero. Morbius did get his start as a Spider-Man villain after all, and keep in mind that a lot of the hate some people had for this movie comes from the fact that it isn't your run-of-the-mill MCU superhero flick, which is another thing I honestly love about it. So my advice is you sit down and you watch it before making up your mind you're gonna hate it.
Oh god. Okay, here's one. This is from I don't know, MXV87 5 months ago. 5-star review. I cried when Morbius and Venom said it's Morbin time, and then proceeded to become Venom. Also, my good friend Bryant Moreland was also there. What the fuck? And he didn't really do anything wrong, just so everyone knows. He is innocent and just wanted a cupcake. Because we are Venom. And then I started crying when Venom teamed up with Morbius and killed Spider-Man from the hit game Among. Oh my gosh, this fucking clown. And then he talks about Scooby-Doo, Fortnite, R. Kelly, Sonic 2, Morbius and LeBron James and Space Jam. Wow. Fucking amazing.
There's another 5-star review from CM Saw 83 that he says, good movie, and goes on to talk about the quality of the 4K disc picture and nothing about the content of the movies and how he's excited that he doesn't have to buy plain old blue or plain old DVDs or Blu-rays or streaming anymore that he can get 4K UHD Blu-ray discs. Literally
Christ.
a paragraph on the fact that it was a 4K Blu-ray. Not one mention of this movie because I don't know that he really watched it. He just marveled at the colors.
Interesting. I can't find like the really funny but short truncated reviews. Everything else I'm scrolling through, and there's a Breaking Bad review for Morbius. Like everything is just like so fucking ridiculous.
Oh, I got one here from Maggie N, a 5-star review that says Morbius movie. The best part of Morbius movie 2022, parentheses, good movie, was when he said, it's Morbin time and morbed all over everyone.
Okay, here's a shorter one, I think, maybe. From Jaden Sierra Stewart. Oh no, never mind. This one's long, but I'm gonna paraphrase a few things here. All right. Huge spoiler. Morbius kills his grandfather by accident because Snoop Dogg made him tear up in so many ways. The fights were amazing. I felt like I was creaming in 4D. Oh, that one caught me by surprise. Creaming in 4D. It deserves more quadrillion dollars. If you don't like this movie, you're fatherless.
Wow.
One of the best fights is when Morbius was fighting Ken the Barbie doll. Not only that, but Morbius is so relatable. The scene when Morbius dropped the soap while singing Kamala La Sevasta really touched my heart and felt really super duper dopey. Oh my god.
Here's one.
Fuck.
Dude, a
Keep it
5-star
coming.
review from Josh Anderson. Sony, give us more BS now. Absolutely phenomenal cinematic masterpiece. When you watch Morbius, it's not just some flick you watch on your day off or put on as background noise. No, my good friend. When you watch Morbius, it's an experience.
Oh yeah.
Pure
That's right.
enlightenment of the most divine film ever conceived by the human mind. In fact, I'm led to believe that this was not the work of some simple-minded primitive human. No. The human brain is too flawed to make such perfection. I think
Yeah.
Morbius is actually an autobiography of Morbius himself. I mean, think about it. Somewhere out there in the universe, there must have been some sort of bridge that allowed our brains to synchronize with Michael Morbius. He must have figured out a way to morb everyone at Sony headquarters in order to make this film to his liking. If you want to get into the details of what makes Morbius so great, here's a few one-liners from the great writing of Morbius himself. I like hot Cheetos. I am Venom. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry. It's Morbin time and time to get morbed, Scarlet Witch. That one's a spoiler. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, I'm having too much fun reading this stuff. It's just so goddamn funny.
Oh, we need to do this more.
This is hilarious. Oh my god. Fuck. Fuck me, man. We should have just spent the entire podcast reading these. But it's so crazy though. Like you've got
I didn't know that there was this trend to give bad movies great reviews, but I'm kind of a fan of it.
I mean, have you ever seen like some of the okay, we're gonna stay on the topic of reviews, but we're going away from Morbius because who fucking cares about Morbius? But have you ever seen the reviews of the Three Wolves and a Moon t-shirt on Amazon?
No.
Okay, you might want to read, you might want to pick that up or type that in. It's fucking amazing, and I would probably say it's better than this. So what I was saying before is if you Google or you put this in Amazon, the Mountain Men's Three Wolf Moon short sleeve tee, there are 5,519 ratings. And I'm just going to read a few of them. And so I'm just going to read the first one from June 19th, 2022. Get ready for quite the ride. Excited as all heck. I got my shirt on a typical Saturday afternoon. I folded it neatly and placed it delicately in my dresser drawer, eager to wear it proudly out and about the next day. Although the high temperature the following day was expected to be 110 degrees in Phoenix, I didn't care that this was a 100% cotton t-shirt with the breathability of an emphysemic patient sucking wind through a tiny straw. I was ready for the magic of this shirt that I had only heard about on other Amazon reviews. I wake up the following day and slide into the shirt along with my favorite pair of cargo shorts. I clip the phone to my belt on my left hip pocket. Oh God, I'm ready. I walk out the door at 7:45 a.m. All seems quite normal. I walk down to my favorite breakfast spot, the local IHOP. I walk in, order my go-to meal, a continental breakfast, of course. I take pleasure in enjoying my meal slowly. I'm likely receiving recognition from everyone inside for my amazing choice of casual wear. I finish my meal, leave a healthy tip of $4.50 for the waitress, and walk back out into the world with a belly full of grease and carbs. This is where things got interesting. Like it just keeps on going, and it's like a page long of fucking reviews, and they're the most elaborate stories, and that's why I kept on like reading those Morbius reviews because it reminded me of this. And some of these reviews for these t-shirts are so fucking great. Even just the headlines for them are amazing. But yeah, those are fucking amazing ass reviews. And too sexy for society is one of the headlines for the reviews. Fantastic.
You know the great thing about this shirt and this topic is we are giving people advice for their next Halloween costume.
What are you talking about? Just if you're not doing anything Saturday, because you're gonna need a whole day to read all this stuff. So just if you have a Saturday that's open, just Google this, and you will not be sorry. Expansion of time and space, like where my heart yearns for a full moon. Oh God, so good, so good.
Man. Did Morbius howl at the moon?
I don't think they.
Because that's the only thing
howl,
missing
right?
from the terribleness of that movie.
I mean, you did have one of them woo a couple times.
It's true.
So technically, yes. Okay, wait, hold on a second. I see this review is for female eyes only, so you know it's going to be good. So I reconnected with this guy again by message and phone at first. This shirt came up in conversation. I thought I'd be sweet and send it to him. Yes, he loved it. I visited a couple weeks later. I was still in the driveway. He came out the front door wearing this shirt in blue. The scent and vibration of masculinity that he exuded struck my body with the force of a wolf pack hunting their next prey. It caused my panties to undergo disintegration at a subatomic level. And that's where I'll stop this review. Buy this for your man. Feel free to thank me for this review. I'd like to know what happens when you give this gift. Good for Blaine Von Harden. You're fantastic.
I think we found my white elephant gift for the year.
And to all our viewers and listeners, you're welcome. If you haven't heard about these reviews, you're goddamn welcome. You will enjoy them. Do you want to talk about Michael Keaton before we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's. I mean, I like that Michael Keaton is as tangential as a Three Wolves Howling at the Moon t-shirt in this movie because there's so many reasons that he shouldn't be there.
And he's so casual about it too. You fucking just transport to another world in jail still, and you're like, I hope the food's better here.
And he wasn't a smart guy in the other movie. He was a sanitation worker.
Wait a second. Just because he's a sanitation worker doesn't mean he's not a smart guy. And I take that offensively because he was very smart. He fucking created this whole underground weapons cache, and he became an arms dealer, for God's sake.
He used the other technology to do it, which brings me to my second point. How can he build a fucking flying suit without the Chitauri weapons?
Yeah. You didn't think about that one, did you, Sony? Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ.
They didn't think about a lot. They didn't think
Ah,
about a lot.
and
They're like, that movie was successful. We can steal something from it. They took Venom. We'll take the Vulture. I like Michael Keaton.
their back and forth too was like, hey Doc, I've read a lot about you. In my free time of getting out of jail, which by the way, I'm sure it takes a few more red flags and some paperwork and some red
Yeah,
tape
then
to
I'm not on the list. I should get to leave.
get the fuck out of here. Like it's so crazy. And he all he says is, I'm a big fan of your work. I think you and me should team up, do some good together.
At
What the
what
fuck
point
does
does
that
he
mean?
disappear and go back to his reality like Venom did?
Oh God. Yeah, well, what the fuck though? What is the purpose of that dialogue? What you're gonna be like instead of the Sinister Six, you're gonna be the good guy five or something like that? Like what the fuck are you talking about? Doesn't make any sense. I don't know what else to say. I just wanted to talk
I
about it just because
I
that's the biggest piece of shit.
nothing in it makes sense. Like he appears, they let him out of jail. He somehow has the technology to build a vulture suit and the same jacket. And
Right?
and then yeah, he's just there. He's just there. Like, hey, hi guys. Michael Keaton here.
Yeah. I almost felt bad because like I like Michael Keaton as that character. And now he's just like this arbitrary piece of shit in the Sonyverse. It's like,
I don't think they'll touch him again.
I think it's time to ask that important question, which I'm sure that the listeners are wondering
Yeah, do
what
we
our
have to
answer is going to
answer the
be.
question? I guess for consistency's sake,
I think we do, and we
we
just do
have
it
to.
like one
But
word answers, and then we sign
mm,
off.
yeah,
Mark, can you do this movie all day?
no.
I
Dan,
respect
can
it.
you do this movie all day?
No.
Okay. Like and subscribe. ICDT all day on Twitter. I can do this all day podcast on Instagram. Tell us if you can do this movie all day or if you are anti Morbin time.
Until next time, check out that Three Wolves in the Moon short sleeve t-shirt on Amazon. Get yourself one. And also read some of those Morbius reviews. You will laugh your ass off. Have a good one, everyone, and we'll see you next time.